rejection was it right here? Where were you
No, no,
trying to land?
it was the reversal right after the open. So you see how it went below the 1 minute and it's at the 5 minute, then it reversed.
Okay. Oh, you took
Yeah,
it here.
yeah, here.
I see.
You see how the volume was actually pretty good. Like I wasn't focused and so I didn't recognize that. So that was like a hint. Um, but yeah, I started fighting it with half size. So on the first part, I lost like half of my gains, but then I made it back. But if I just didn't trade the second part, I just would have made the same money anyway. So, but it's still green. Like I should have played it much better, and so I would have made more. But it's not all bad. So, yeah,
That works. I mean, it's part of learning.
yeah, for sure, definitely.
How'd everybody else do? Who else we got here? What's up, Mac? Are you with us or are you out and about?
I'm here, I'm here.
Yo, what's up, Mac? How was it today?
Nothing really. I didn't like anything. I was looking at Hook as well, but it just, I don't know, it didn't seem like a very good range for it. You know, that the final target was pretty close as well. And then it did that squeeze, so like left it alone. Tried to take the continuation on first red day on KABL, but as well was like too late on it. So actually, like trade was straight in the money, but then reversed on me, and I'm like, small size, I'll just let it play out. You know, didn't even cover break even.
On KABL yesterday?
Nah, today, because today
Oh, today?
it had first red day, and I was just looking for continuation.
Oh, that thing was actually been pretty strong, huh? Like it didn't really pop and fail. It's just been going up lately.
Yeah, so that's
But
yeah, so
today,
that's
yeah.
like it was all that extension, sort of big extension, and today was first red day. I tried to take it, I believe somewhere, yeah, over here. I had this, well, not a very nice trend line, but this trend line I
Okay, yeah.
waited here because it had this like sort of area
Mhm.
over here, like as well. You
Yeah,
see like
nice.
this volume node. I was looking at like 256. Didn't take it here because SSR like, and it's not sort of above J lines, you know. So I like a little bit
Okay.
hesitated. Wanted to build my position into 256, but like hesitated. Then waited for this break. Added like quarter on a break. Then on this little dip another quarter, and didn't add anything else. Like just waited for it to play out. I was like straight in the money, like over here. It had a heat map about 250, and I like to like set my stop just like a couple cents above heat map because sometimes it just pushes through, you know, stops, you know, takes out the stops and basically fades. So I always keep my stop like a couple cents above heat map. So I just let my stop in and like let it play out because it's like as well half size. It's like it's fine. Only trade today basically.
That was, I mean, a pretty good read on it here, though. I mean, I like that idea of this, and you got that horizontal kind of line of that 250. What is it, five-ish
Yeah, you
area,
could say
250.
like it's like, you know, all this range. You've got this range, and then it falls from the range. So basically, there's still, you know, someone's like left up there. Basically wants to get out, or some orders or whatever. So we just like literally
Hmm.
waited for that range. Didn't have enough confidence to build my position into it because it's like pretty late in the day and it's SSR, like really low volume. It's like really hard to read for at least for me. It's really hard to read them because it just, you see selling. It's like constant selling on the tape, you know. But it's just like holds the levels and like, okay, so what are you gonna
Yeah. Yeah, it's been, I got a little tripped up a couple days this week with my tape reading because um, a few stocks were like going down, but then green on the tape. So like this was like Roblox today. So from like, let's look at from like 9 to 11 o'clock. It kind of like tripped me up because, you guys see how much like green, here's the open right here, but you see how much like green is on the tape? And
Yeah, it reminds me of the I think like last Wednesday or even Saturday meeting when there was you had as well like you had on a book map like it's going up
yeah,
like all red I think, but it's like going up. So it's like
yeah,
it's on the
yeah.
opposite side. It's like going down, but all green.
So yeah, that's been happening. And so that happened yesterday, I think it was on MU. It was all red but going up. Like literally the whole time the time in sales was like printing. Like for instance, this, if you can envision it, it was just a ton of green prints, but then like going down here. So it kind of it just kind of messed me up. I didn't trade Roblox very well today. And yeah, yeah. So that was kind of interesting. So I don't know what if you guys have any thoughts, but how have you? I talked to a couple traders, and a couple people said they were really having a hard time this week. Um, Last week I felt was a little bit tricky as well, but this week has been pretty difficult on the big caps. But I have been testing out some new styles lately. Um, Trading off of a 5 minute, off of a 3 minute, compared to my 1 minute scalping, because I'm trying to almost evolve to hold positions better and like go towards like, you know, positions where you're holding for 30 minutes or an hour or a day.
I think for me, what OTC said last Saturday, it's true for small caps that last week and this week, all they're doing is they're putting a lot of volume in the beginning of market open and then they chop it around because there's not as much liquidity. So they try to take those micro scalps with their algos.
Yeah.
And then after that, they push it up like for one last push, like they did with Sophie, like they did with Hook. Um, and then they flush it for the rest of the day. You know, it's been doing that for the past 2 weeks. So for the traders who've been getting caught up in that chop, you know, I think maybe that's why it's been difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. I mean, that's what's been kind of happening to me is like these quick moves happen, like you're saying, like here, for instance, on Roblox, thing just shoots up in 1 minute, right? But then if you tried to trade this and you're trying to scalp, uh, it gets tricky. So,
Yeah, like position trading, like what you were just saying, I'm like, man, I can usually hold a good amount myself, at least partial, but I
yeah.
can't even do that at all this week.
And that's where I was jumping over to, um, let's see here, the 5 minute, because what I wanted to show you guys was just some stuff I was going through on the 5 minute this week, because, for instance, like here, like here's the open, squeezes up, you got the VWAP, and then if you just kind of took this as like a VWAP rejection here, short, and your stop up here, entry right around here, this was a great trade.
No,
Or even this move right here where it kind of gets weak here, but then when you take the break lower, that was a good move here to break lower. So I was looking at some 5 minute charts lately, and here, let me pull up a few. So like here was AMD yesterday, chop at the open for, this is a 5 minute chart. So on the 1 minute, if you could imagine this is just really choppy. And then, the coil tightens and then it breaks higher, right on top of VWAP also. So that last trade we were just looking at was a VWAP rejection. And then this trade right here, if you're taking it close to VWAP, stop like below VWAP, below the 9 on the 5. I mean, this would have been a great trade, and you're above the J lines. Here's another example, like chop at the open for 5 minutes. It breaks higher, traps a bunch of buyers, and then it sells back down, chops longer. But if you would have took this thing long on VWAP here, and then had your stop wide at J lines, which is just like a comfort zone. You could play it tighter, but you know, with this market being so range bound, wide stop can really work, and then you would have been able to hold this thing all day. Um, so yeah, this was my trade yesterday on that. I went long here, wider stop here, partial here. Let's see. That was Nvidia. On a 5 minute, it looks a little bit nicer, but long here, once it finally broke above and it was holding above, partial here, and I partial there later. Uh, but yeah, so what I was
Put up
getting
with
at
Dali.
was it's really easy to get chopped up a little bit here if you're not trading with a wide enough stop. So 5 minutes, I've been kind of paying attention to it a little bit more closely. But today I was trading off of it purely, like not even using the 1 minute, which I never do that. I'm always focused on the 1 minute. And I messed up a few things, but that's just kind of like testing some ideas. So here's like Airbnb popped up here, consolidated, and then it faded hard right before the open, and open near pre-market low, opens here, shoots up, consolidates, and then in this 5 minute candle as it's breaking higher here. Let's see here. Here's the 5. I just want to see where I took my entry. See, I took the entry right at VWAP, and then I traded with a wide stop. I think maybe a little too wide. I can't remember, but so I took it right at VWAP. Then I kind of mismanaged it, and this is the part that I'm still perfecting, I'd say. Trade right here, long, no partials here. I was at like 2R here, but I was like not going for just 2R. I wanted to try building a position, which is what I've been kind of researching, you know, OCC and stuff was talking about last week, because if you can start a position with small size, small risk, and then wait for a good area to add size into it, and then risk everything that you made thus far, you know, bring your average cost closer, I mean, you can have a really big win. So I've been testing that, and then went long. This thing made it cup. This was not really a good spot to add. It just I should have done it closer to the J lines here, not here. And then I cut the trade at break even here. So I was like up 2R on the trade, then I doubled the size of the trade, and then I cut it here at like break even. And then I was just kind of scalping, trying to go back long here, cut it, long here, cut it. So yeah, so just not that good of trading. This long, typically, like if I was trading this off the 1 minute, which we're looking at the 1 minute, but I was on just the 5, I would have had my stop loss here, and then I would have been partialing up here, typically on a normal day. But since I'm testing out this like building positions, you know, starting with 25% size or 50% size, I just kind of mismanaged that. But the analysis on Airbnb
Well, Eric, was
here on
this
Boca,
over here? Is that like some sort of significant level?
that's pre-market low.
Pre-market low. So, when you say like building position, wouldn't you think like try to build it up here? Do like, you know, OTCs like engagement order, like whatever, tenth of size
Yeah,
or something, and then, you know, wait for this, like it pushes it here, settles on a 9 EMA, and then you add another, you know, somewhere here, or where you did basically. So you got this, and then you add over there where you entered basically, like as you say, like building position. Because now you saw ended
yeah,
up
I mean,
with this one,
that's
you
definitely,
ended up at what, pre-market high? What is it?
this pre-market high, what's that?
In this here, this red line, what is it?
The red line is the current price, I believe.
Ah, okay. Because it looks like, you
Yeah,
know, you sort
current.
of you added into like breakout basically.
Yeah, I kind of did. The red line's the current price, so right now it's trading at this exact price where I cut it. But yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. but I don't usually take trades here in pre-market, like right before the open. But lately, every day in pre-market, 5 minutes before the open, we get this like really nice move that, you know, that moves pretty far, I'd say, on the low volume of the pre-market. And then at the open, we might get a nice pop out of a candle, but it just chops. So, so yeah, so like this 30-minute range here kind of tripped me up. But, you know, looking at Bookmap, here's Airbnb. Because this thing went higher, I just mismanaged it. I was longing it down here, and then I added at the top of this cup. I should have added right around here, or not even added at all. I should have like waited through the first pullback to see the results of how it was going to work. But then I kind of decided to add here, and that really wasn't the best move. And then once it got back down here, I should have looked to start a new position again as a tester, because lately we just get into these range bound stocks, especially on the big caps, and you almost got to be buying at the bottom of the range or selling at the top when trading in the range, which on big caps we usually are just like looking for a curl and a clean trend and a breakout, you know. But lately we get a quick breakout and then a really long consolidation, so it's a bit confusing and difficult, I'd say, because you have to adapt to what it's doing. So for me, scalping it works, but everything needs a little bit wider of a stop, because these algos are just stop hunting. They're going up to these guys' stops, down to these guys, up to these guys, down to those guys, and that's all it's doing. And then when it finally does break out, it's hard to sit through the trade and still be in it. It finally did here, but yeah. So
Like Apple today.
yeah, let's see Apple. Hey, Janine.
Hey, Eric, everybody. I was sitting through that and I caught the long, but it was excruciating.
Where did you take it long at?
Right before the big push I happened to be watching it all day, because I was so upset I missed the open on it. And let me look at my chart. Cool.
What's tough, like, this is what I kind of mean. So if you look at like this and you're trading the open, maybe you don't catch any shorts here, so you don't chase into it. And then these like not so good looking flag patterns happen. I mean, the 9MA was actually working pretty nicely here. But then when you wait for like the first pullback to VWAP or the J lines, which is in a nice market, it kind of makes a trend down, and then it pulls back and then goes back down, right? This is just straight blender right here.
Yep. Yep. And if you didn't buy that dip, you know, down there, you could easily get shaken out depending on where you think you're shorting or covering. It just went sideways for a really long time, big consolidation, and then out of absolutely nowhere. I think I caught it at around 2 o'clock, right before 2. Because it looked suspicious. I was like, I don't know, this is not the usual like sideways pattern. Something's going on here. And then the market just kind of came alive. So did SPY. Everything about that time came alive.
Yeah. Cool.
But
yeah,
it was.
It's that like last hour of the day has been really interesting lately too. So usually it's always the open that does well, but lately the open can be really choppy. And then I've been watching lately, the last hour of the day has been kind of strong. And then sometimes, like I was saying, 5-10 minutes before the open, these like power moves, you know, come in. I don't know. So.
Yep.
But yeah, did, so you ended up getting the long and making it work. Where did you trade with like a wider stop or like a starter size, or how did that work?
I got stopped out in that consolidation there a few times, and then I was just kept looking at the different time frames because I was like, well, I think I should start maybe, you know, swing trading a little bit of Apple here and or a little bit more of it. And I was looking around, and then all of a sudden, I saw that big push, and so I chased it into the push because I'd been watching it and I had a feel for what was going on at the moment. I normally don't do that, but I
But
made
were you able to make it work?
yep, I made it work.
Oh, perfect. Then that's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, made $400 on it, and
That
I
works.
yeah I chased into the push, and then I just kept scalping it along the way. I got out at that first, well at that yeah at that first top around 172.80, right around there, and then I was completely out. I did not wait. You know, I did not catch that next leg up. I wasn't. I was like, you know what? I don't know how big caps really move, and that was enough for me. I'm good.
Yeah,
Um,
that works.
yeah, I was out. It just didn't, you know, it was very suspicious. I was like, I'll take
Yeah.
that much and that's it. I'm out.
Good. Yeah, that's really smart. Sometimes it's best to stop ahead because overconfidence can really kill. Like
Mm.
when you start trading well in a trend up like this, and then you know, sometimes it's easy to get caught up here
Yep.
before it makes its leg up and maybe get back too much. Um, you know, trying to have a really tight stop. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but I do think the market overall has been pretty tricky. There have been some good moves, but it's been more choppy than usual. But I think people are a little indecisive right now on whether they think it's going to go up or down.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not easy. At least I noticed that at least on small caps there's like SSR, SSR, everything SSR basically. It's hard to find something decent. I think last week I traded only SSRs. I think.
Yeah, there's been a lot more stuff on SSR, right?
Yeah, definitely, and it's like you only get like one gap per day, and everyone's on it, and it's you know, as you said as well, it's like trades all the way like sideways as algos or whatever, like you know, taking small scalps and then only does this move later in the day in the evening. So I'm not complaining about that because I only can trade in the evening. So it's like there's one gap, I know it's gonna be alive, you know, in the evening.
Yeah, but I feel like there haven't been huge gappers on the small caps, but a lot of them have been working better, I would say. This week, like Jay traded pretty much only small caps, right?
There's not a lot of gappers, but a lot of them extend right in the market open. So what was like of a play of a gapper becomes much better of a play after the first 10 minutes when they push it up.
Okay, is there something you guys want to go over in particular?
Um, Eric, I just wanted to ask something, um, a bit basic. So, because you know how the small caps, well, you just said there have been some small caps, but like Max said, a lot of them were SSR, so that pushed me to look a bit into the big caps. Um, it's a bit of a basic question, but you know the pop and fail, what's the difference between that and the over under? Because I was talking with Jay, and some of the advice he gave, it was well, the sentence was pop and fail, which is an over under. But I was confused because I thought the over under was like an under over where it goes over the open, but instead, because it's like a short, it goes below the open, and you take the short right as it crosses the open, right? But the pop and fail, you don't short it like when it crosses the open, but you have to short it like on the actual pop, right? So that's why I'm
Yeah.
confused because um he said the pop and fail, which is an over under.
Yeah, I think with the over under is it kind of varies on people's entry as well. It's not always when it just crosses through the opening price. That's just part of what the setup should do. The
Okay.
way people short it, like maybe it might be, let's say it's popping up and then it runs into this large heat map. Maybe it breaks it and then it stuffs right back through it. Sometimes people
Okay.
short it there. Sometimes people short it as it goes through the opening price, or just seeing, the red on the tape. So it kind of varies where people take their entry. So I think that kind of is why the pop and fail is so similar.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense now. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. The setup that you're looking for is just the stock shooting up, and then you see the tape change, and then you look for your entry for the
Yeah.
short.
Okay. Got
So,
you.
on the same topic, so over under is the short side, isn't it? When it pops above and then fails, isn't it? Does it have to
Yep.
be J lines 1 under 3 under 5, or doesn't it can be sort of one above 3 and you still look for that?
Typically, the best over unders are below the 1 minute J lines. They're opening up below, and then it pops up and then goes back down.
No, but like I mean, like in correlation with the 3 minute and 5 minute, do they have to be above 1 minute?
But you would want like here's like the 3 minute J line. You would want that above, and then the 1 minute, and then your 1,000 up here. Actually, for some reason, my 1,000's here, but you want as much resistance above, so that way when this thing shoots
yeah.
up,
I was just
right?
thinking like
Is that your question?
Yeah, more or less. I was just thinking, trying to connect the dots between like small caps and like first day or day two gap
Yeah,
down
no,
play
same thing, right?
yeah. Yeah, more or less. That's what I'm thinking. Like pop and fail, so it probably would be like gap down, whatever, day two, day three on a small cap when it's on the open. When it pops above, pops into 5 minute J lines basically, like pop and fail rather than
But
over under.
so like let's say the over under from a scalping perspective, some people trade the over under. I would say off a 5 minute too. Just depends on how you kind of trade it. But so if this thing was shooting up and then it rolls over, maybe this was just and you're shorting it here at the 1 minute breakdown. Maybe this is just like an over under scalp, and then you get shaken out. But this setup right here, I mean, it's pretty much a J line rejection. Here's that VWAP rejection that I keep pointing out. And why I point that out is because they're happening a lot right now. So this is something to pay attention to, because VWAP is becoming more significant. It seems the past couple weeks. But maybe this you could call pop and fail as well, where it just pops up and then it's failed. So it kind of depends on how you want to define it, but this is kind of like a pop and fail right here.
You have to be quick though, I think, because when I look and I see, well, I don't know if it's gonna sit on top of that. Is that purple line what's your purple line again?
The 9.
The 9? Yeah, I'm like, okay, it's on top of the 9 there, and I'm like, and when that next candle comes in, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if that faded really quick or not, but sometimes they kind of hang out
Oh yeah.
above, the 9, and kind of fake you out, thinking it's going to sit on top of the 9. The 9 will curl up. I don't know if it's like a mid big cap thing, or because I'm always hesitant. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to fail or not.
Yeah, I agree. That's how I am as well.
Tricky, right?
But, let's say you want to take it short right here at VWAP. The ideal spot to like have a wide stop, 25% size, would be even up here to start playing safe, because then you have a lot of time to think about if it's going to turn into a J line rejection and roll over. you're only at 25% size here to here, so it's not a huge deal.
Right.
And you got time to cut it and trim it if you want to.
Yeah.
But, you know, Jay wouldn't trade with this much of a stop, but I say that, but sometimes I feel like he does because we were shorting
Oh, yeah.
Piton on Monday, I think it was, and it pops up and he says, okay, my stop's going to be right here. And then
Yeah.
it ends up going higher. He didn't
Yeah.
cut it. I cut the trade and then it like chopped and then he shorted more and shorted more. And then it turned into a winner for him.
Mhm.
And then it was a winner for him. And I was like, what the, you know, like I
Yep.
cut it for a loss, but
Yep.
that's because he saw something and, you know, he has more experience. He thinks it's best that you do cut it for a loss because if it totally goes wrong, that's a bad call on him, right? Uh, I think it was the right thing, you know, to cut it because there is
Well,
uncertainty. But lately, what I'm getting at is that these positions they pop up and you got to hold on to them longer to like let it play out. If you're trading off of 1 minute and you're in and out of positions, sometimes you need to give it a few minutes to work. And that's why I've been kind of paying more attention to the 5 minute chart. Um,
definitely
Yes,
five
me too. The
minutes.
5 and 5 and the 15, I'll pay attention to um, at the open. So, well, I mean, sometimes the 5 minute chart at the open is tricky too. It takes some time to get there.
yeah, I mean, if you end up getting trading here on the five, you, it's not going to work
Mm-hmm.
unless you have a stop up here or down here. So wide stops are pretty important. And like with a short here like this, with a stop up here, what I've been trying to work on is where do I add into the position when it's working?
Yes. Yes.
Because like let's say I risk $100 here and then now I'm up $100 here to keep this thing simple. um, Maybe you, as soon as this thing approaches the 9, you just load into it and you bring your average cost to just right here, so that way if it pops up you just get out at break even. But if that works, now this like $100 risk trade could turn into a, you know, $600-700 trade pretty quickly with the right ads.
Correct.
And so that's what I've been working on is doing just that, kind of risk 100 and find the spot that I can add a lot of size when it's
Mhm.
working.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was trying to do on Airbnb. It just didn't work today, so that's all. But
Sometimes I take a third off immediately. Like sometimes I get the first or second candle and I'll go in with maybe half size and then I'll take a third off right away
yeah,
just to, you know,
I
fix
do
the
that
average a little bit.
almost always. I do that
Oh,
as
really?
well.
Okay.
But I'm trying
Bold.
some new things.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because you know, there's so much money that's sometimes we leave behind that uh, with a few shares, it could have turned into a swing position. It could
True.
have ran all day, but we cut the whole position off, you know. So um, I'm just trying to work on capturing more of that because it's not much risk, and sometimes these moves are really great that almost turn into like a swing trade.
Yeah, and I've also sometimes at the open went in with small size, and I didn't care if it moved $50 or $100 in either direction,
Yeah,
um, and waited because I'm okay. I'm in there at this price that I like, and um, I could add to it at some point
yeah, that's
if it goes
great.
higher, and I'm, you know, if like that's the trade I was going to take anyway. Um, you know, sometimes I just need to go in and kind of feel it out a little bit, to put my toe in the water first. But on small size, and it gets me really into reacting as opposed to thinking about the trade. And that you wouldn't want to do it with money that you can't risk, but sometimes I just need to press the button and be like, okay, I'm in the trade and I'm just more focused. Like, what would I do? What am I doing? What's happening? I just pay attention to the stock the price action a little better, but with a very, very small size, um, just to get a direction for myself.
Yeah, that's great.
Like,
I like
feed the
to
monkey.
do that as well. You know, a lot of these bigger traders that trade big size, you know, prop firm traders, they are doing that exact same thing.
That's good to know because I felt kind of not disciplined by doing that, but I was like, you know what, I'm also a young trader and still evolving, and it's something that I had to test for myself, and I'm like, you know what, this makes me feel good about, you know, my trading. It just, but I do it again. I say with a small size that I'm aware of the risk, and I don't have a problem stopping out. But it just, like I said, it's just a little feeler. It's just getting on stage and tuning up your guitar, and that, you know, that's it. You're not performing yet. You're just tuning up.
Cool.
Yeah, that's actually something I'm trying to do as well. I try to sell as well. That's why I prefer like cheaper price stocks, like based on my my size. I can scale into them like quarter of the size, and it does make me feel more relaxed as well. I start somewhere. I see like okay, I draw my levels, and I'm still like not 100% confident what I'm doing. Like I may be wrong. I don't know, but it looks for me looks good. So I start as well like quarter of the size, and I'm not too worried about it. I can have a lot wider stop. I'll add a little bit higher if there's like a heat map or something. It relaxes me, and then even if I get stopped out, I'm like, it's nothing. I don't get, I don't start revenge trading, or I don't just jump straight back in. It's like, yeah, whatever. It's like it didn't work out. It's fine. But yeah, it makes you look at the like engage into into the actual trade, like look for levels, look for tape, and who's buying, who's selling, who's where.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Mac, I know you do a decent amount of scalping as well, so sometimes practicing things like that can be very valuable.
Yeah, I try to recycle now more as well, because when I started, it was like all I used to take very small, too many covers basically. I take cover after, oh, it just dropped a little bit or moved a little bit up, like, oh, I'll cover, partial, I'll cover another partial, and then it goes to final target, and I'm like left, with like 10 shares or whatever. It's like, oh yay, hit final target, and then take one full size loss, and it basically negates everything, all your full trade. So now I try to recycle. If I see it, like get the rejection I want, and it forms a trend, then I always look for 9 EMA, like to recycle, so keep the full position. So now sometimes I end up basically at my final target. Of course, average is much lower than initial entry, but I end up like carrying like half positions of final target sort of thing, if that makes sense. And I never get, price never goes above my average. I always stop like break even, or I allow 1 to 2 cents, depending if there's a heat map, strong heat map. So I'll just leave like partial, position running, basically like 1 or 2 cents. But yeah, that helps me sort to get a better winners when they are winners, and it's still my original stop loss still remains within my 1 hour. So I'm trying to win a little bit more on that side.
Yeah, for me, I use it when I'm uncertain and I want to test the water. Normally, I have all my levels and I know where I'm gonna be shorting or longing, and I'm confident when I go in, or I know what size I'm gonna use all beforehand. But occasionally, on a trade where I'm like, I want to be active in this trade, but I'm not quite sure these are the levels. But um, yeah, I find it helpful as well, but not as a like a guessing game, more but as a specific tool. Um, to use as support when needed, not like, throwing darts. I just want to
Oh
make
yeah,
that clear.
oh yeah, definitely not like I just sat down and I'll hit sell or buy order
Yeah,
and
not
then
a
I'll see
guessing
what
game.
happens.
Yeah.
Like yeah, you sort of you do your whole thing like you draw your levels and you think okay this is maybe like not the strongest of levels but like okay I'll start here and see
Right, right,
how
right.
it acts. Yeah, definitely. I'm a
And
li-
often I've
yeah, carry on.
Yeah, often I've looked back too. I've looked back on my trades and I've gone, oh wow, that was a good feel for where my instincts was right about I had a plan and it was the opposite of the plan. And I'm glad I, abandoned my plan and, like Jay always says, have two plans, right?
Yeah.
A short and a long, or have a plan if it reverses or goes against you. Um, and yeah, I've looked back and been like, oh wow, that's interesting. I took the short, and if I check the other time frames, I'm like, wow, it's interesting. I took it right at that level, right at that a specific level that was important on another time frame, but just wasn't aware of it. So it's really good to check those feelers out on other time frames and see what your instinct was telling you, um, based on the price action that was surprising. Like, oh, this is not my plan. I'm surprised. I want to participate, but I'm not quite sure what's going on. Like Apple this morning, I had planned to watch it at the open, even though I don't really trade big caps. I was like, I want to watch Apple today, and then I missed it because I was so surprised by the big fail at the open, and I was like, huh. I wonder if anybody else was trading Apple in the room and thought, yeah, these are my levels. I'm going to short it today.
A little bit
No, nobody.
hesitant like to take trades outside like let's say take a short above J lines even if I have a level there or like today as I showed on KAVL basically when I showed the price was above J lines but it did give the rejection from that supply level sort of thing and I'm like hesitated there just because of that. I'm like okay, I'm not gonna start it here because when I send the chat, oh Jay's gonna say like, oh it's above J lines or whatever, and I'm like, I missed like so many like trades like this just by hesitating. It's crazy. I just need to like carry on with my like do the feeler and build the position basically. If I feel in the gut that basically yeah that's what it is, and I did my due diligence and I have my levels. I've checked, all the time frames I need and just be more confident. And I suppose that's where all the feelers basically help you to engage into the trade.
Yeah, I know, Mac, you have said before that you hesitate sometimes, so that will help that by putting out feelers.
Yeah, just
Even
need
if
to
it's just like one or two shares, like.
yeah, I just need to keep it like under control, not to go too mad with it.
Okay, Raymond, you with us?
Oh yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, how's your week been?
Uh, all green for the last 7 days.
Oh, dude, nice.
Yeah,
Good job.
thank you.
Well, what would you say has been working or that you were doing different?
Um, Doing different is no, I mean just trying to be more disciplined and trying to avoid some of the bad habits and focusing more on bookmap and charts. So these are the things, and I'm really looking for the good setups rather than taking the bad setups. Yeah, I think those things are helping me.
Sounds pretty easy.
Yeah,
So you've just been focusing on not doing the mistakes and following the rules and discipline.
I'm still doing mistakes, but I'm reducing them.
Well,
Some
that's what
mistakes.
trading is all about. Everybody does mistakes, and then it's all about how good you can reduce them.
Yeah, yeah. So this is one of the trade. I think I took it on Monday. So Monday I was watching for Tesla, Tesla. So let me take that attention. Yeah, I was. I think it was the day high area over here. I was watching this area, and I see this Nanieme crawls, and I thought it was Jalen curled down over here. I was a little bit early there, so I took a shot. It is just 2 puts, Tesla 880, 880 weekly expiry puts. So that is here. This is the put chart, and here I took my partial or here, and I thought it is okay. It is a little bit extended, so I just thought to take my partial, and here I took all out. So my second put also was out. That was here. So that was actually stopped out that. And I see here a beautiful bear flag forming up, and I reshot it. Just I reduced the volume, just took only 1 put, and it went all the way down to here. I was watching bookmap, and I was strictly thinking to trail the 9 EMA or 20 EMA, so that worked out because it did not even give a chance to rethink. No, I mean rethink to close the position. So it was always showing these bear flags, and I was my plan was if any of this bear flag, if it is breaking this previous candle, I'll be out. So here also I was looking that same way. If it is breaking this candle, I'll be out. But it never did that. So instead, it went all the way down. So maybe I think it was previous day open range or something. So that was the reason I stopped out here. So that was a killer trade.
Yeah, nice. That's a great trade.
Yeah. So it was. I mean, I really enjoyed this
So-
trade because no, I mean, I have plans. Everything was working well.
Now, do you measure kind of your trading in R's, like risk and reward, and then see where you're at on the day or the week, or do you
Yeah.
just have
So
like profit
yeah.
goals?
Yeah, I mean, if I measure this risk reward, I think it will be more than 15, 1:15 or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty good one.
And after like a trade like this, or let's say you're having a green day and maybe you didn't get a trade as good, like where's your stopping point? What makes you decide to stop?
I'll stop the whole trading.
Just trading in general for the day when you're green on
Uh,
the day.
Once I finish my bullets, that is a problem.
Once you finish what?
Once I finish my bullets, once I
Oh.
don't have any more
Oh,
buying
any more
power,
trades?
I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that works. That's one way to stop, I guess.
Yeah, so this one, see, if you look, see, I was missing plenty of this kind of Tesla's movements. So Tesla sometimes gives very good movements in the afternoon. But no, I mean, normally I finish my bullets around 12 o'clock. So after that, I cannot take any trade. So Monday, I did go really low in the mornings, and I was just waiting for the good setups.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think I have shared a couple of, yeah, this is, yeah, okay. So this is the one I took on Tesla today at 11 a.m. So the thesis was it was closing to J line, and we were suddenly started pushing because there were a lot of stop loss orders were there, so it was executing and popping up. So I saw that, I took 2 puts, and I know it is the day open range area, and there are a lot of frictions, and there are a lot of, no, I mean, trades happened over here. So I was thinking, okay, there is no more room to go, so I just cut them off. So I was right. So I was right, and that was a nice one. And again, I was watching. It was again forming a bull flag, and once it broke that flag, I took the entry over here. two puts again, and the same thesis. I mean, opening range area. So I just cut them off. And if you look on here again, here, I don't know where it is. I think it's somewhere around this area. Yeah, this area. I took it again. I saw this push. I thought, okay, maybe it could go a little bit up, but no, then it was not giving. So I thought, okay, cut it out. So I just cut it there. So this was low volumer, just only one. These are twos, just one, and it was. I mean, it was not loss. Maybe there is no risk and reward between these things. Maybe 20 cents or 25 cents or something.
Do you typically take a long like this, kind of under the J lines? Because you were right though. I mean, it made a curl here. It held
Yeah.
up kind of this range, and then it did pop up. It just didn't. This was a trade that could have worked really well if it went.
Yeah, because that is the opening range area. So I think that was the reason it was not pushing further.
But I've been noticing lately, on big caps, sometimes we get this like curl that happens below the J lines, and then that is the push up.
Yeah, then directly it rip up, right? So I saw that couple of times.
Yeah, I've been seeing some of those, and I'm like, oh, it's a little tricky because then you're thinking when it's below the J lines, you're thinking, oh, okay, maybe it's setting up for a short, and then really it's just setting up to go long.
Yeah, correct. So normally, yeah, I noticed that below the J lines it takes, and I think I have one more trade. Yeah, that is Nvidia market open time. So I saw it came below the pre-market range, and open price rejected. I let the first candle to move to see the direction, and I took it on the second candle, exactly over here, down here. So that is here. It was, I think, Nvidia. Yeah, it is Nvidia 250 puts, expiring same week. And it is also same thing. I mean, I let it go and took my partials, just one out, and I took all out. So I could have waited a little bit further, but no, I mean, yeah, I just thought, okay, take it out, and no, I mean, one strong push can directly go all the way down here, so I just thought to take it out.
Yeah. And then where was your stop loss on that one?
This one, in fact, it is just two puts, so I was thinking, no, I mean, I didn't put any stop loss on this one. I was thinking around 30 cents. If I go below 30 cents, I was thinking to cut it out. So it wasn't even come closer there. So 30 cents means two contracts, $60. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that worked.
Yeah, that worked.
Nice. And
That-
see, here's once again this like curl that happens under the J lines.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then if you didn't get it here,
Yeah,
seems
I
not.
didn't get. I think in this point I was just trading with the Tesla. I mean, somewhere around 11 o'clock I was trading with Tesla. Then I missed this move. I didn't notice this move.
what's tricky with big caps too is like, so this goes up, right? It comes back to the J lines, and you think it's gonna go this way again, right? But it makes a lower high. It goes right through the J lines and then curls up down here to go back up. Normally it does this and then it goes up again like that, where now it's having to like sell through. So like it's kind of interesting because I don't know, it's just usually when it's trading below the J lines like this and then it pops up, I'm thinking total short setups here, not long.
Then if you have a look at the bookmap at the same time, I mean, of course, I know sometimes we will not focus on that side. We will be overthinking or something. So I think if you look on the book map, you will be seeing a liquidity out here and liquidity out here. Just partially, I mean, it is already taken, and this liquidity also taken, and you will see a push over in this area.
Well, you can see too at like 9:30, see where you took that first long. So that's a support area. Like if I were maybe if I were looking at this chart, it's a support area. And so some traders I know trade line to line. You know, obviously we're taught in this or channel trading, and obviously we're taught in this room to, you know, a strategy, you know, J-line rejections, 90 EMA curls, which I love. I love what I'm learning. But I do recognize that there. So that, you know, that support right there.
Yeah. So this is
Yeah.
the options chart. So this is a stock chart. Yes. This is the resistance area in.
And it keeps hitting it. It keeps
Keep
touching
hitting.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a sign a little bit, and it is consolidating in there when it goes above the 90 EMA and below the 90 EMA and above the 90 EMA. I'm like, this thing is either going or it's fading, one or the other. I can't, sometimes I can't tell.
Yes, so a couple of other things. See, here also you can see 9 EMA crossover. Here also there is a 9 EMA crossover. And see, if you look at here it is perfectly crossed over in the 9 EMA and went directly through J lines. And again here, just along with the J lines, there's a 9 EMA crossover and a rejection. So that is exactly that should be the entry over here. If somebody was taking that trade, it is a beautiful trade all the way. I mean,
Right.
that is option, put chart all the way, and in stocks it is all the way down.
And I think no one really knows if that's going to happen or not, because I've seen it go that way, and I've also seen it go the other way at that point.
Yeah. A couple of times it gives tricky. See here, it gives a fake crossover. But no, I mean, what I noticed is if it is close to the J lines, it works. I
Yeah,
have
like if it sits right on top of it
yeah.
and it looks like it's curling or it's making a cup.
Correct.
Raymond, was that
Yeah.
you said was talking about 9 and 20 crossover?
Yes, 9 and 20 crossover.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I started looking that one. So along with the J line, so that is very helpful. That gives some extra conviction to the trade.
Well, cool guys. Well,
Yep.
anything else? I think we're gonna call it a short day here today. And yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah,
Alright,
and
guys.
here a couple of things I have noticed along with this J line, VWAP 920 along. I mean, all together, it's a perfect entry for long or short, depending on where it is. If it is on support or if it is on resistance. So if all together, it's a beautiful setup.
When you have the J lines, the 9 to the 20 what?
And VWAP,
And VWAP all together.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
here's
but you have to be trending in some direction, because
Yes.
otherwise you're
Yes.
just gonna
Yeah.
get chopped up in a sideways. I made
Yeah,
it. There
yeah,
are so many times I used to get in all the 3, 1, 2, and 3 J lines basically intertwined, trading sideways, and I'm like, oh my god, they all together. This is a super resistance. I'm gonna take this, and it stops me out, and then again, oh, it's still there. I'm gonna take it again.
all right, guys and gals.
Hey, bros and gals, laters.
Take
Let's
care,
wrap
guys.
it up and have a good rest of the day. Have a good rest of the week. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, take
See you
care, guys.
soon.